Well, and that's where I'm impressed with having learned now being at Cashman Center, the Living Well with Cancer program that Catherine just created and kicked off. It's not just a support group that we're used to and what I went through. It's giving tools on how to live a healthier life, and that might be how to talk to your doctor, because it was 10.5 months from the day Dave was diagnosed to the day he died. You've got so much going on, you're in a bubble, you're just trying to get through every day, and that's me as a caregiver. That's not even being able to talk as how he felt. And he's dealing with the emotions of, he's not going to see his kids grow up and see his next birthday. So you don't know how to tell the medical professional that, and you're too in shock and everything too. So the Living Well with Cancer program, I truly believe, will help you deal with that, talk about it, bring it up, or talk about a will, talk about, all that kind of stuff too. There's so many things that you don't even think of, and then after the fact, in our case, it's like, oh, I should have said this, or I should have said that. So, a lot of different type of supports, but I believe that's something that's new, and definitely I didn't know anything about it. We didn't know anything about it. Even my main goal was, how am I going to help my kids through this, and how do I explain to them and tell them, because we knew he was going to die, and no one could tell me, and no one would. Even in our cancer support group, I remember one of the last days going, I came here for a reason, and I haven't gotten that answer yet. Someone, and even the day he died, the child life specialist came up, and I asked her, how do I tell them? Or, I don't know if he's going to die today and this is going to be the last time my kids see their daddy. It ended up to be, and I wish I would have handled it differently, but I didn't know, and she didn't tell me. My sister-in-law is a pediatrician. I asked her, she wouldn't tell me. When he died, I said, do I go get my kids? Do they come and see their daddy so they can say goodbye? No one could tell me or would tell me, and that might be just a personal thing. And I still struggle if I did the right thing. I didn't. And my 13-year-old son, sometimes I think it might have helped him. It might have, but we don't know. It might have also made it worse. So any kind of support, any kind of group, anything new out there that can make you think of those things that you're too in shock or whatever, overwhelmed to, is amazing.
I do want to tell you that the same thing I tell other people, which is you only get one chance to do this, and you do it the way it's best for you at the time. So it was the best for you at the time, and you didn't say anything wrong, and it's all fine.
Sorry, let me just put you on the spot, Dr. Plotnikoff. How close are we to having our insurance companies cover integrative medicine for cancer patients?
I can't answer very well for this, and we have no problems covering new medications at $110,000 per course because we've got FDA imprimaturs behind it. But in some sense, Jenna, maybe the question doesn't really matter because co-pays are becoming so ridiculously high right now, and the systems are even using language called capture. They want to capture these dollars, so they're against any willing provider laws that would allow any medical expenditure to count towards these deductibles. They say, no, you must spend it in our system to count as a deductible. So it's kind of a restraint of trade type thing, and that's why I think, oh boy, we're in for some major tumultuous events in healthcare because of the insurance industry and related concerns. That's why I think it's so important for forums like this to focus on what is it we can do for each other, low cost, low toxicity, and can we share and learn from each other?
The best resource for information, Doctor? Western, I guess. Internet? Friend.
Yes. You should be hooked in your clinics with if you are hooked in your clinics with a nurse navigator, start there and see if they can point you. If you're not, then whoever your nurse that you see when you walk in the door, have them point you. Internet's great. Don't believe everything you read.
The Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center website for /about herbs, that is where all the media goes. It is where all people it's a very legitimate source for dietary supplements and herbal medicines and drug interactions and the like. About herbs, if you just Google that, that is a good resource.
This one's very specific from someone who is a massage therapist in the room, that she doesn't specifically work with cancer patients, occasionally gets a client who is either a survivor or currently going through chemo or other treatment. How does she let them know she cares without sounding trite or giving false hope in a very short amount of time? Like, what's appropriate? Maybe Heidi, I don't know if this is for you.
Start with your heart. Open your heart to that person and ask them what they need, and they'll tell you. And then it will be easy.
I always ask people, what would make this a good visit for you today? Again, it's their agenda, it's not mine.
Do you think a cancer cookbook is in order or would be needed when we talk about nutrition and stuff like that? What could people do at home?
I'm fairly certain that some exist. So yes.
Yeah, good resources along that line. I think Crazy Sexy Cancer, I think has that, is that right, the website?
Yep.
It's a Crazy Sexy Cancer?
She's just a little bit
Okay,
crazy,
all right.
yep.
Other names, Jean Wallace, Jeanne, Wallace, has really good resources. On the website, gregoryplotnikoff.com, I've placed her all-purpose smoothie on there. And this is a nice, the recipe, and then there's different added flavorings. You can create a kind of a tropical variety, and there's a kind of Thanksgiving varieties and Halloween varieties using the different spices for this. But for people who have trouble eating, for people, what can you eat when you can't eat? This smoothie is a good place to start. For people who truly can't eat when they can't eat, then non-MSG broth and bouillons, and then working way up to more of a rice-based soup, and then adding little teeny bits of meat and stuff like that, working way back up. But I tell you, I can't believe it's absolute malpractice. I'm going to go out on the edge here. I'm sorry, but going out on the edge. It's
I like it.
malpractice to recommend Ensure or Boost. These things are okay. These things are incredibly inflammatory. And when I hear a physician say a calorie is a calorie, and I've heard world famous endocrinologists say a calorie is a calorie, I have to answer, yeah, I have to answer that's not right. It's not true. There are foods which are inflammatory, which we do not want. We increase inflammation in the body, and that drives fatigue, depression, progression, weakness, muscle loss, impairs brain functioning. The list goes on and on. We do not want a high inflammatory state. So therefore, we don't want to be taking Ensure with a ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s of 26 to 1. This is criminal. So, excuse me, before I get in trouble.
Wow. Aromatherapy, essential oils, is this the latest fad, or do they have actual benefits? Any research to support any of that?
They have real benefit. I used essential oils during chemotherapy to help myself get through the alcohol wipe and stick of the needle. Simple things like that are unbearable sometimes, and also hospitals are doing it. Why would they do it if there wasn't a reason to back it up?
Again, it goes on to this idea about having control of one's environment. When something is being done to you, you say, what else can I do? What is in my control? Aromatherapy is so easy. You can carry it with you wherever you go. And yes, there is very good research on aromatherapy. It's obviously part of the standard of care in Europe and in most hospitals, or at least many hospitals. And there's even a textbook of aromatherapy, which is like about 300 or 400 pages thick. For, you know, that has full of citations for research. So,
I'll say the Center for Spirituality and Healing at the University of Minnesota does have a course on aromatherapy, and any caregivers who would be interested in looking into that, it's easily found online. I can answer that more specifically afterward if you want.
Go for it.
Okay. I'm a hospice nurse and have been for 32 years, and also a cancer survivor. What I found was really helpful and empowering for me that I tell my patients and tell other caregivers to do this for their loved one. Take that medication bottle, take that IV line, and either pray with it or send whatever energy you need to do spiritually to help that give the best result with the least amount of side effects. It worked for me. And it empowers them to be able to do something for themselves.